What's going on, everybody? Scott Bogman here for Betting Pros to give you my favorite picks and props for Week 5 of the college football season. Before we dive into the action, let me remind you guys that we are brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, the Hard Rock Bet app. Roll with Hard Rock Bet this season. It is a lot of fun. You can sign up today with Hard Rock Bet, place your first $5 bet, and if it wins, you'll score $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings. That's just one more reason to check out the Hard Rock Bet app and see why it gets so many stars and such great ratings. It's our last show of the week before Sunday, so if you're looking for more insights on what you can bet before then, just go check the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub right there in the app. And look, there's a bunch of information and trends they're giving us right here. Kansas City has won 10 straight home games against AFC opponents. Jalen Hurts has reached the end zone in 6 consecutive games. Miami has won 9 home games in a row against the Jets. Cleveland hasn't covered the spread on the road in 6 consecutive games. Kyren Williams has scored the first touchdown in 5 consecutive LA home games. That's a crazy streak. And as you know, first touchdown bets pay even more than any time touchdown bet. Plenty more where that came from. It's all one tap away at any time on the Hard Rock Bet app. On Hard Rock Bet, you can get profit boost for football parlays every day through Monday, back-to-back college profit boost today and Saturday, plus a profit boost for Sunday games and another on Monday night. There's new promos every single day, so no matter when you listen to this, open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. All right, let's go back and look at what happened in Week 4. We were 5-2 last week, 15-21, so we still have work to do, but a much better week than last week. The props were 6-3, bringing us to 26-18 on props. The ones that we did get, we got Miami -7. We got Fresno State on the money line. We had Oklahoma -6.5. Thank you for that backdoor cover on the safety. Vandy won 70-21 over Georgia State, so they covered the 27.5. And Purdue hit that team total of 13.5. They scored 30 points. The ones we missed, I got hooked on Missouri and South Carolina. That one, the kicker missed an extra point on the first touchdown. Just aggravating. And then on the over, it was 23-21 was the final. Our total was 47.5. Hawaii had a chance to make a 2-point conversion going to overtime. That might have messed with our Fresno State money line, of course, but we would have got the over either way, but it did not happen. We had 2 conditionals. The conditions didn't make it on either one of them. I wanted Tulane to get out over 14, and they actually shrunk. It was 13.5 when we talked on Friday, the morning of. It was 11.5, and then Antonio Williams played in that Clemson game. Those would have split. This would have been 6-3 if we didn't put conditions on them. On the props, like I said, 6-3, so 26-18. Our touchdown calls, we've got a bunch of them here, and we hit, I believe, 4 or 5. Haynes King, Sedrick Alexander, Jonah Coleman, Jordan Tyson all scored. Taylon Green did not in that Memphis game, and Memphis beat Arkansas, which was surprising. And then on the yardage props, or the actual props, Carson Beck, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He didn't have any against Florida there. Jeremiah Love, over 100.5 rushing yards. He had 157, so we got that. Didn't get Emmanuel Henderson. He had 43.5 receiving yards. I believe 36 was before the half, and then he didn't catch one in the second half. And then Brett Norfleet, over 18.5 receiving yards for South Carolina. He had 35, and he hit this one. This one ballooned up to like 24.5 yards in a day, but he got a 25-yard catch, his first catch. So he hit my prop and any other prop that you would have seen right before then. So that was a decent week. We'll take it. Much better than the week before, which was probably my worst week picking games. But let's get into Week 5. You've heard some of these already on the show. Some of them have been in my article, but I have 9 for you. We're going to start out with 2. Rutgers plus 5.5 at Minnesota and the over 51.5 here. We just saw Rutgers put up 28 points against Iowa, right? And they have been running downhill offensively. They can't stop anything on defense, and Minnesota does get Darius Taylor, their best running back this week. Presumably, I believe he's probable. So I think Minnesota's going to be able to score, but I don't know that anybody, including Iowa, is going to be able to slow down Rutgers, and Minnesota's defense is not they don't have what Iowa has. So I know this is a road game. It's a tougher one, but we're getting 5.5. I think this is closer to a field goal game, and I think this is going to be a lot of points back and forth. So over 51.5 in that one. USC at Illinois over 60.5. And my explanation for this one on the show this week, and this is one of my favorite bets, is that Illinois, I think they got blueprinted a little bit against Indiana, right? I think USC can see that and see where they can take advantage of Illinois a little bit. But even if not, I mean, USC on their own merits, their offense is outstanding. And Illinois, the strength of their defense has been in the secondary. Xavier Scott is out for the season. They lost, I believe, 3 other corners and safeties in the secondary. These guys are banged up. They're not definitely ruled out. I think one of them will miss. I think the other 2 are going to play, but they're all less than 100%, and obviously USC throws the ball a lot. So I think USC is going to score a lot of points. You know, I don't want to pick the side on this one. I like Illinois to bounce back, but I do think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think USC is going to force Illinois' hand, and USC has left the back door open 2 weeks in a row, and they didn't cover against the spread because they got backdoored. So I think that late Illinois can score here, specifically if USC is up, but I think USC is going to do the heavy lifting on our total here. We're going to go Auburn at Texas A&M over 52.5 in this game. And look, this one to me is all because Texas A&M has not been slowing anybody down. They've given up a bunch of points this season, capped a couple weeks ago against Notre Dame where they gave up 40, right? They were on the road. It's a tough team and everything, but this defense is not the same as it was last year, specifically against the run. So I think Auburn's going to be able to run the ball. I think Jackson Arnold's going to have a much better day in this game. Marcel Reed should have a decent game as well. I think this is a nice back-and-forth game, and we hit the over in this one. We're going to go Indiana minus 7.5 at Iowa, and I know Seth and I are on the Indiana side. Our boy Terrell is on the Iowa side because Iowa traditionally does not lose games like this at home, and they definitely don't lose by a touchdown at home in the Kirk Ferentz era. I understand that. And I just don't believe that this is the same Iowa team that we've seen traditionally. And I don't believe that this is anywhere close to the same Indiana team that we have seen. And Coach Cignetti has talked a lot about being disrespected at Indiana. And I think that his motivation in these gigantic wins that they have, where they're putting up 70 and 60 and 50 points, is to make a statement. I think what he wants at Indiana is for Indiana to be taken to the same level of Michigan, Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State. That's what he wants. I don't know if they'll ever get there at Indiana, right? But it's his goal. So I think every week you have a chance to make a statement. Iowa's a team that doesn't lose at home. They don't get blown out at home either. I think that's the goal for Indiana. I think once you get the lead, now you keep your foot on the gas. And they've covered every other time except when I took them. So maybe I'm the cooler on Indiana, but I know this is a tough game, but Indiana seems really, really efficient right now, and it's just hard to go against Coach Sig. We are going to take an under here. LSU at Ole Miss, 56.5 is the total in this one. And Lane Kiffin has talked about it, right? He said that this is the best defense that LSU has ever had since I've been at Ole Miss. So this LSU defense is legit. They have a lot of star power. Ole Miss, the only under that I think they played to this year was the one against Kentucky where, they played an SEC level defense, and Ole Miss can put up points, but they are on Chambliss, the backup quarterback. Austin Simmons is active. I wonder if there's anything weird there, right? Like if Chambliss doesn't start right, does Simmons come in or is Simmons starting? And then are we mixing? I just think it's going to be a little bit weird. We've seen Ole Miss play down at home as well. They did it to Kentucky last year. This is a good LSU team that hasn't been really moving the ball as efficiently as we'd hoped. So I like the under in this game. I think this one's a little bit tighter. UCLA plus 6.5 at Northwestern. Look, this is just a trends play, which I typically don't have, right? I'm not a big trends guy, but 56% of teams that fired their coach, the next game, they beat the spread. And you're getting points on the road against a Northwestern team that's not very good, right? They're probably better than what we've seen from UCLA this season. So I don't want to sit here and shade them specifically because they're at home, but I think you see the proverbial dead cat bounce that a lot of these teams, when the coach is fired, they get on their horse and they go and they play much better because that's what they wanted. So I think we'll see a better effort out of UCLA. It's either that or they're going to lose by like 30 to Northwestern. So I think we get them to play better. This roster is better than Northwestern, not by a ton, but by enough to make this game a field goal game, not a touchdown game. So I think UCLA can stay with them here. We're going to take points from Mississippi State plus 8.5 versus Tennessee. You heard me talk earlier this week if you listen to the Wednesday show. I kind of like Mississippi State on a money line sprinkle as well. I think that's probably a little too bold for a show like this, but I'll sprinkle a little bit myself. So if you want to get in there as well, the thing that Mississippi State does that I think matches up well with Tennessee, well, number one, they have home field advantage in this game. And we saw in the ASU game, when the people show up in Mississippi State, that crowd is loud and obnoxious and intimidating. So I think you're going to see people at Mississippi State show up for Tennessee, right? This is a huge game for them. And what they really do better than Georgia, which is the reason why Tennessee lost to Georgia, is because they couldn't stop these big plays. And Mississippi State has done a pretty good job in the secondary of containing big plays. They don't have a worst strength of schedule, but they did a very good job against ASU. I think they could at least rein in Tennessee a little bit here and make this a more uncomfortable game than a lot of people expect. I also think that they can win this game straight out with a couple weird bounces. I don't think it's like a guarantee. I think it's something like a 20 to 30% chance that they win this game, but I'll take a risk on it. I just like the way that they're built against Tennessee. And then Alabama at Georgia, we're going over 52.5 in this one. We remember what it was last year, and look, hand up, I was dead wrong when I thought the under was going to hit in that Georgia-Tennessee game. They had 1,000 yards of offense and over 80 points scored, right? And I think what we really saw were two things in that game. Number one, Georgia was not getting any pressure. They have 3 sacks this year. They are 126 out of 136 teams in pass rush grade, according to PFF. So this has not been an intimidating pass rush at all. Alabama is the same thing. They get Tim McKeenan back, so maybe it's a little bit better for them, but it has not been effective this year. They've been getting pressure, but it's been at over 3 seconds. And if we cut that down to under 3 seconds, I heard this stat on PFF earlier this week, they have as many pressures as UCLA, who just fired their head coach, right? So Bama has not been doing a good job at putting pressure on the quarterback. Neither has Georgia. And if you give even mediocre quarterbacks time to throw to the weapons that Alabama and Georgia recruit, this game is going to be a nice, fun shootout. I think that's what we're going to get. So we're going to go over the 52.5 in that Bama and Georgia game. All right, before we go to the props, let me remind you guys to check out the Discord. If you're looking to up your game in sports betting, join our exclusive sports betting Discord community at bettingpros.com/chat. Not only can you connect with expert handicappers who provide free picks for the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, player props, live betting, and much more, but now you can also participate in our weekly community picks, cast your vote, see how your picks stack up against the experts, and track your success. And also, while you're checking things out, check out the Betting Pros app. Track your bets, stay accountable, and level up by downloading the Betting Pros app. With Sportsbook Sync, automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot. Easily monitor your best performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get a 7-day free trial of Betting Pros Premium by using code JUICE and activating your trial on the upgrade screen. All right, let's get into the props. Only 3 touchdown calls for you this week. Just wasn't feeling very confident on a lot of them, and a lot of them are bad odds. Some of these are bad odds, but I just put them all together. I mix them. If I have more than 3, typically I mix. These 3 I'll play together. So we're going to start with Georgia Tech, quarterback Haynes King at Wake Forest. We're going to just take this one until the wheels fall off, right? He's scoring tons of touchdowns. I think, it's like minus 160 or something, or 170. So it's not good odds, but he's going to get it against Wake Forest. Vanderbilt running back Sedrick Alexander, he has 7 touchdowns in 4 games. They're playing Utah State. He's going to score unless he gets hurt, right? I think that's the thing with this. This one is a little more maybe shaky, but USC running back Waymond Jordan at Illinois, 3 touchdowns in 4 games, 15 carries in the last 3 games. I think he gets in the end zone. And like I said, I think this is an over in that USC-Illinois game. So just get him down inside the 5, and I think it's going to go to Waymond Jordan. So getting to the yardage props here, quarterback, I'm going to take an under, and I'm going to stick with the game that I told you about before, the LSU and Ole Miss game. The total for Garret Nussmeier is 290.5 passing yards at Ole Miss. I just don't think he's going to get there, and I think the problems that we've seen is, specifically in this game, I think that LSU is going to be a little bit one-dimensional, and they've had problems along the offensive line as well, losing some starters, right? So I think that is going to be an issue for Garret Nussmeier. And Caden Durham being questionable for this game, their running back, their best running back, I think kind of makes them a little more one-dimensional as well. So I don't think he's going to hit this total. I'm not very good at unders. I like to be more positive on these and take overs, but I think we're going to take the under on that one. Rutgers quarterback Athan Kaliakmanis over 245.5 passing yards at Minnesota. Again, Kaliakmanis has been completely unstoppable this season. I think he's going to be able to pass against Minnesota. I think Iowa's defense is better than Minnesota's, and he was able to pass against Iowa. So I think he's going to be able to get it done even in a road start at Minnesota. Another road game, Baylor running back Bryson Washington over 107.5 rushing yards at OK State. 70% of Baylor's RB carries are going to Bryson Washington. And in this game, look, Oklahoma State, I know I just said the dead cat bounce and all of the statistics about a team firing their coach and the team playing better. Maybe that happens for Oklahoma State in this game. It definitely could, right? But they fired him midweek. This isn't like they fired him in the bye week like Deshaun Foster, and then they get 2 weeks to prep and change things. They fired him midweek. They told him, like, you can say that you're going to retire at the end of the season. We'll let you finish the rest of the season. He said, I'm not doing that. And they said, okay, well, then you're fired. So weird week. I think Baylor runs all over Oklahoma State, and I don't think it takes very long for Bryson Washington to get this, even though it is a big total. 3 wide receiver receiving totals here for you. Ohio State wide receiver Carnell Tate over 59.5 receiving yards at Washington. I like both receivers here. I think they're going to be able to get some stuff done. And Jeremiah Smith is like 90.5. His total is just very high. That's all. And he's had some drops this year. His receptions was 6.5 as well. Carnell Tate's a down the field guy. If he gets 3 catches, I think he's probably going to have one big one in there for 30 plus yards, something like that. I think he's going to get a lot of that in 1 or 2 catches. So I think if he gets to 4 catches, I think he sails past this. So I think 4 catches is very doable, even against a tough team in Washington on the road. We're going to go with Cal wide receiver Jacob DeJesus over 4.5 receptions at BC. He leads all Cal targets by 9. Weird across the country game here. You know, this is the ACC. Cal going to Boston to play a game. It's a little bit weird here, but you just design up a bunch of plays for Jacob DeJesus. He's a little kick returner, shifty guy. So, I think I want to do the receptions in case he doesn't break a big one, right? But I think 4.5 is something he can sail over. And then Alabama wide receiver Germie Bernard over 57.5 receiving yards at Georgia. Like I said, I think this game's going to be a little bit back and forth. I think him and Ryan Williams are both very good targets for this team, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. So that is everything for me. So just to review, I'm going to run through the picks and props one more time. We're going Rutgers plus 5.5 at Minnesota plus over 51.5. We're going USC at Illinois over 60.5. Auburn and Texas A&M over 52.5. We're laying 7.5 for Indiana on the road against Iowa. We're taking the under in LSU at Ole Miss, 56.5. UCLA is plus 6.5 at Northwestern. We're hoping for the dead cat bounce. Mississippi State plus 8.5 at home against Tennessee as home dogs. And then Alabama, Georgia over 52.5 is the picks. The props, 3 touchdowns. Haynes King, Sedrick Alexander, Waymond Jordan. That is the quarterback for Georgia Tech, the running back for Vandy, and a running back for USC. Our quarterbacks are Garret Nussmeier under 290.5, Athan Kaliakmanis over 245.5, Bryson Washington, running back for Baylor, over 107.5 at OK State, and then overs on Carnell Tate, 59.5, Jacob DeJesus, 4.5 receptions, and Germie Bernard, 57.5 receiving yards. So that is everything for me. Good luck, everybody, and I will see you next week. Take it easy.